When I was a young lass, they said my words were wise ones. And now that I am older, they just call them mean ones. No one wants to hear the truth, even myself sometimes. And that's what this podcast is all about. So welcome to the stream of Consciousness with your host, Conch. That's me. I'm excited for today's episode because I didn't feel like I had to struggle for this topic. It kind of came naturally as I was thinking about some other things. And the topic is really kind of surrounding some of the other things we've talked about. If this is your third time returning, this is the third podcast. Thank you so much. I would love to meet you. So send me an email, send me a comment. Let's connect authentically, realistically, beyond just me talking at you. But today's is one that can be applicable to really any scenario, to anyone, spiritual path or not, but definitely those on the spiritual path. And that's using fear as the lens for everything. And usually they say, obviously, don't use fear. And by that I mean, whenever something is setting you, going awry, it seems hopeless, especially. I, being an entrepreneur, deal a lot with hopelessness and like, will this ever work out? Jesus fuck. But I think one way that for anything, any barrier, any, of course, perceived barrier or otherwise, that you can look at it as like, what is this feeling that I'm feeling right now? What is my state? What is my perceived state right now say about what I'm fearful of? What fear is driving this current state of mind, current state of, the situations in your life, the actual, perceived realities of what's going on? Because our fear runs very deep, and more than anything, it is the base of all of our emotions, thoughts, feelings, ambitions, even being on the spiritual path, right? Let's peel it all the way back. Why does someone put up with the difficult and alienating path that is the spiritual path of a human being? Why do we put up with that? Usually it's because we've tried other things and we're sick of continuing to be unhappy. We're tired of whatever other things may be going on. Maybe we have a major physical ailment, and that drives us more to the spiritual side of things. Maybe it's just that you've yet to find purpose, you've yet to find meaning, and so you grow broader than just societal things to find that meaning. But underneath all of the options I just gave is still, I think, and tell me otherwise here, but I think it's still fear of not accomplishing, fear of not reaching happiness, fear of being unhappy your whole life, fear of affecting your children, fear of not ever finding a partner, fear that you're going to repeat this life again but shittier the next time. And if you're religious, fear of punishment, right? Punitive actions being taken against your soul, your spirit, your body, whatever you may think based on your religion. So fear is really the base of everything we do. Like, and again, I know you guys probably know right now I use dogs a lot, and so I was like, okay, well, let me really test this out. If it's really everything, then what does that everything entail, right? Like, if it's really everything, what is going on with dogs? Why did I get dogs? And you know what? Probably, again, being more vulnerable than I used to being, but honestly, probably fear of a lack of kinship. Like, I don't really get understanding from people. They just kind of look at me like I'm just some weird, uh, you know, outer species of human, and I probably am, honestly. I definitely think I'm a hybrid of some sort, maybe a dog human or something. A little bit of octopus in there. But it is probably fear of not having impact. Also, I love the animal world. I love the natural world, and I felt like I've been so blessed that I don't want to get to any part of my life. I don't want to have the regret, right? Again, fear of regret is another major motivator of people doing anything. And for me, yeah, dogs is like, no, I want to do whatever I can early on. I don't need to wait until I have acreage to, save multiple dogs, hundreds of dogs, whatever. I can do it small. I can do it at a small scale, and not feel that regret, or not feel like I made no difference, or whatever it is. So that's really what I guess I'm talking to you about today is think right now, like, what is coming up to your mind when I say to you, what are you worried about? And whatever that is, ask yourself, what fear is driving me? Because, really, like, what is it? FOMO, I guess is the word. That's fear driven, right? Missing out on something. I'm scared that I'm missing out on something. Obviously, fear can be very topical and shallow based fear, but like root fears, deep root fears are what get in the way of our spiritual progress. And the thing that's helped me the most is to come back to, if there's something that I want to do, but I'm not actually following through on it, right? I'm not keeping the discipline, I'm not, whatever it is, what fear is stopping me? It's not what inability is stopping me, what fear is stopping me? So, for example, I have really big dreams. I've always wanted to, when I got onto the entrepreneur path, and there's so many options, there's so many different things, and obviously, technology's in a crazy space with AI and all the stuff that I'll save you from, see on the news. But, I was like, but I have nothing. Like, I don't have a network. I don't have supporters. I don't have, like, I'm not I definitely don't win any popularity contests. And any of the clients, any of the people circle that I've had before have long disappeared, because I haven't been in that space. I haven't been engaging. We're not in the same realm, so why would they be engaging with me? So, my fear made me not commit. I was spinning my wheels, and worse, I was making my big ideas smaller. One, so they could actually be, broken down and like test them and be very methodical and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, methodicalness doesn't necessarily lead you to success, especially again in the cosmic way of thinking about things. And it was this fear of like, well, I don't want to intimidate people, I don't want to dream too big, and they're just gonna think that it's unrealistic, or I won't have any support because it's not understandable, blah 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 blah. But yesterday I did this random exercise where I wrote down like what my life what conscious life, persona, world, impact would look like if I dreamed as big as I wanted to dream, or rather, not wanted. Excuse me. I dreamed as big as I actually do. Some examples, right? I want to. My biggest dreams are really about giving a successful model for large changes in society. And so when I realized, I was like, nope, retract. That's way too big. No one's going to get on board. That's a lot to accomplish. The funds for that, how much will that endeavor take me away from my family? Will I have less time for my husband, my dogs, my spiritual path, right? That's, again, fear. But really, your spiritual path is not separate from your life. They all flow together because you're always your spiritual self, But going back to the examples, they're all models of differences I want to hopefully impact in society and in life. And so one of them is, decentralized living arrangements, right? Like kind of a eco-village type thing, where the focus is not around having children, it's around having dogs. And so pairing dogs that, don't get homes with being able to kind of just run the village, and doing everything in a sustainable way, small scale, minimalistic living, and then seeing, okay, what effect does that have on biodiversity? What effect does that have on, soil health, agricultural possibilities in the area? Can these communities, feed themselves? Do they need a lot of outside things? With that kind of, with the politics of it, research, blah, 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 right? There's all those what ifs are really fears. The other example is being able to have a venture studio, which is essentially, as it sounds, it's a studio that pumps out ventures and then supports that venture by putting a team around it. So it's essentially a business unit that generates business units. And it seemed like it worked for me because I have a lot of ideas, but they're not just ideas. Like, I have real business models for how this could work, how it could go to market, blah, blah, blah. But I'm bringing that up because, again, the fear came up of like, what the fuck do I know? Like, every single person I look up that has worked in a venture studio or has a venture studio, one, they're not necessarily the most talkative people. They are busy executives. They have this air about them of like, I make money, so I only spend time with people that make money. And that generated a lot of fear for me of like, I will never ever get anyone to talk to me. Is there something about me that makes me so unsupportable, and that's a big part of what stops me from dreaming fully my big dream. So when I did that exercise yesterday, it all came out of like all the endeavors I want to do, what I want my life to look like in 5 years, 10 years, or at the end of my life, whatever it is. And the beautiful part was what I had forgotten, what the fear had submerged in me, which is, the word generosity, I think, came up maybe 10 times in what I wrote. I think it was actually the most said word was generosity, and then impact, and I think like nature was the third. And that's very telling, for me. It's like, oh, okay. So what am I doing right now that gets to that feeling of generosity? Like I don't like I'm one of those people, and I know it's not just me, but I want to make millions so that I can give away millions. There's a lot of people out there that I would just help. And the other thing that I wrote on there is I want people to come to me for help that want help. I don't want to have to chase people and give them help when they don't give a shit. And that's a big one because I see so many people, again, being an energy healer too, I'm very aware of people's struggles, even over online. I got pretty good at remote work when I was doing distance Reiki healing. And even online, I can tell who's struggling. It's all like, I'll reach out and try to help. But, like, no one wants to feel like they need help or that they'd even like support, I guess. So one of the things I wrote on there is I want to be able to help anyone that comes to me for help. If they say, hey, can I have $100? Sure, here you go. Hey, can I share a meal with you? Yeah, come on over. I'll even cook for you. Like, that's the kind of person, that's the kind of heart I already have. I was about to say that's the person I want to be because I fear that I'm becoming too changed by being an entrepreneur, the business side of things. Well, that's actually why I started this podcast, right? Like, I didn't want my heart that didn't give a shit about revenue and like impressions, the close rates and all this crap that really doesn't matter and only matters because I'm exposed a lot to LinkedIn. But underneath all that BS, I'm still that person that would give my own heart away if someone asked. If someone truly asked me specifically, they came up to me and they said, hey, I need a kidney. Can I have yours? I'd be like, yeah, let's go. That's honestly the type of person I am, like, deep in my core. It actually got me in trouble when I was younger, right? My parents would, like, specifically go out of their way to be like, okay, Kanchna, like, don't, like, just, give this away, or don't say this out loud to strangers, or, like, don't be sharing this out in the open, like, you're too open. And, yeah, I was always too open. And, I have stopped that, obviously, because there's definitely, the business world instills a sense of, what's the best way to put this? This is going to come off a little offensive, but I'm going to use the words anyway, because I can't find a different one. But it definitely instills a sense of you having to be kind of elite, a little closed off, that you're picky about the things that you do, and that somehow makes you more professional or more accomplished or whatever. And I get it, you want to niche down, that's what works. Business world is all about repeating what works. It is not at all about innovation. So it took me away from that. And I'm getting a little off here, so I'll go back on topic, which was that exercise. And I would encourage you to do the same exercise. Just write down. It doesn't even need to be sentences. Like, mine are absolutely not sentences at all. And it's not even like, some of it's from not even me, from the very, very high perspective of, like, Kanchna, I looks like this, does this, has this impact, has, this success, is able to help, this many dogs not get euthanized, and this many people have homes, and just the impact, right? And it was a lot about partnerships, community, and like I said, generosity. And it made me realize, like, okay, what fear is keeping me from that generosity right now? And I still haven't figured it out. I don't know. I haven't I haven't hit the nail on the head yet. Of like, do I feel like a generous person right now? Yeah, but no one's really asking for anything, so it feels like I'm not being generous. And it surfaces. Because I've been a loner my whole life, so it surfaces this like fear that I'll never be accepted, never have a place to belong, never be understood for the good intentions that drive my actions and wants and dreams. And that fear, always there. And it continues to be fed because I don't have belonging, I don't have a community, I don't blah blah blah. And that's why I'm creating them, because fuck it. There has to be other people that feel similarly, and I'm trusting rather than fearing. I'm trusting in the energies of my intention, the purity of my intentions to bring that to me. So I'm not going to be fearful that no one's going to support whatever it is I do, because fine, no one could support it. That's fine. It won't be a success by numbers, but it'll be a success because of everything I learned through it. And so I encourage you to do the same exercise. And then start asking yourself at every junction you can, what am I fearful of that's holding me back from feeling the way that I want to, from doing the things that I want to? And then go and address that. Think about that, meditate on that, journal on that, whatever it is. And I think it'll be incredibly transformative way of problem solving, actually problem dissolving, I would say, because the questions do start to dissolve, and then you start to realize, I've been doing this for just a week, and there's much less chatter, there's much less doubt. It doesn't even come up anymore. If it does, I immediately go, up, fear. I can recognize it. I can recognize it in a second now, rather than it laying dormant. And I do think that's actually having effects on my health, physical health, physiological and physical health as well. So let me know what you think. Two main takeaways here are: focus on fear if you want to figure something out, or if you're not where you want to be. If your current state is different from your ideal state or your preferred state, let the problem dissolve by focusing on fear. Just keep coming back to that. What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? And if you can't quite figure out and answer that question, you've got a really good one. That's a great one to meditate on. Because if the answer isn't clear, there's probably a very deep fear that's feeding that. And one of the deepest fears actually is just wasting this life when you don't feel like you have a purpose. You don't feel like you have a belonging. Like, why am I here in this rendition if I have no place to fucking be? And that anger too, out of fear, is that you will spend your entire life being that way, right? That this isn't temporary. So think about fear anytime you get to things. Question what you're fearful of. And the second takeaway is, do that exercise of just writing down, what does your persona, what is your I, right? Your personal self. What is it? What is the impact of that? What does your world look like? Like, if someone were to write a biography about you, again, it doesn't, like, mine were literally phrases like partnerships with blah blah blah, non-profit, like, it just like phrases, just whatever comes up, high, low, between, don't edit it, and then read back through. And extra, do a like a word cloud. There's lots of like online free word cloud things you can feed in your text and do a word cloud, or you can just do a counter of what was your most used. The word cloud works because the most used terms are going to be larger, so you can really see what comes out, and also looks pretty cool. But do that, and it's a really eye-opening way to go, oh, I want this, I want my life to look like this by the time it's ended, but I don't think I'm anywhere, like I don't even think I'm trying for that. And then you go, oh, well, why aren't I trying for that? What fear is standing in my way? So I hope that was really helpful. Realizing this was, I mean, this is honestly probably the 5th time I've come to this realization that fear is really at the bottom of everything. But every time you come to a realization, it really is in a cycle. It's really in a spiral, and you get to go a lot deeper into that realization. And I feel like I've finally kind of gotten the simplest morsel of it now, and now I can go forth and flourish. And I hope that my sharing this helps you do the same. Again, comment below for the video. I'd love to engage with you. My email is also available through my channel, so feel free to email as well. These are, I'm doing this because I feel these are important topics. But if there are others that you're wondering about, let me know, and I would love to dive into them and share what my experience has been so far. Again, in 10 plus years of meditation and being on this path. Hey, thanks for listening. Love to you. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you next time on Stream of Consciousness. Cheers, and be well.